Sloss and Humphries on the road.
Muggins and cream, cream and muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
And that's our intro.
Fucking muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head to me.
All right.
In an ideal Holocaust, one where I was in charge,
All right, who are you killing now?
uh,
Who's got to go?
journalists, and you know, there's so many of them are bad nowadays that I do reckon it's worth killing all of them.
So you just wouldn't have any news?
When was the last time you saw a journalist give the news? Like actual, just here's the facts. I'm not going to extrapolate on it and whatnot. When is it?
Probably reading like New Scientist.
Aye.
Or I quite like reading The Economist, but like both of them feel like quite a. But no, this is the thing. I want to be that. I want to be. For people listening and not watching, he calls a wank out with his hand.
No, I just said it's all very wanky. I tried to read that stuff too because I'm like, this feels like something a smart person would read. And then you read it and you're like, why do I need a fucking thesaurus for this? Like,
But
there isn't. Like, I've read Bill Bryson books. You can explain this to me in a way that makes sense. You're just wanking into your own mouth while writing this article because you know you're smarter than me, which suggests to me that you're not very good at journalism because the job is to neutrally explain things that I don't understand at me so I can arrive at my own conclusions as opposed to you forcing them on me.
But then where do people who have actually way smarter than us get their news without getting patronised? Like, it's us
You can do it. You can do it in a not patronising way.
It's us that are stepping out of our zone. You know, we're stepping onto their turf.
Well, look, fair enough, but they're going to fall under it. I wasn't even going for like news journalists, right? We went to see Spider-Man, the new one.
I am
yesterday.
getting rave reviews off people. I haven't read any journalism, but people are saying it's class.
Man, it's the best Marvel movie since Endgame.
I was texting your ma about it.
It's the best Marvel movie since Endgame, hands down. And I read a bunch of reviews for it, and they're all like 3 or 4 stars. And you're going, right, so you're just trying to, one, what are you doing? Why are you trying to write a neutral review about Spider-Man? Nobody watching Spider-Man or any of the Marvel movies is a neutral. So you're writing a fucking review for absolutely no one apart from yourself. What you're doing is you're writing a review which is, I'm better than this movie because I'm not sucked into the hype, which is fine. Don't write a fucking review about it. Don't just specifically go out to have a negative review because you've seen so many positive things out there and you know it's there and you're like, right, for the sake of clickbait, for the sake of selling fucking adverts on my website, I'm going to have a contrarian opinion for movies that I don't even like in the first place. I shouldn't be reviewing them. I should not review food restaurants. Ever. I should never review food restaurants.
No.
I shouldn't review music albums. Right? That's not my thing.
Yeah, you should review a cricket match.
No.
Just stuff that isn't for you.
Stuff that's not for you, do not fucking review it. That's a disingenuous fucking review. It's just you going, I hate this thing, and people going, we don't care. I don't care if you hate a thing that I fucking love.
So what drew you to the review? What made you read it? Or you just know that you're aware that them reviews exist?
Yeah, I think I was on like my fucking Google page and it was like, Spider-Man receives 3 stars from The Guardian. You're like, I don't care what The Guardian thinks about Marvel movies.
Aye.
Like, why have you even wasted fucking money? Like, that's why
I want to know what they think of P.S. Morgan.
Aye. That's why I'll never subscribe to The Guardian, because you are wasting money paying a journalist who doesn't know anything about Marvel movies to review Marvel movies. You don't have a good business structure. It's a phenomenal movie.
So it's a class film.
It's unbelievably good.
I'm so fucking stoked for this one because I know you said
can't even overhype it.
I know you said it's the best since Endgame, but I think like it's the only one I've really looked forward to since Endgame. Because some of them, I've still looked forward to. I still haven't watched 2 of them: the Eternals and Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings. Aye.
So I'm sure they're class, but like because I was bought into the Marvel pre-Endgame, this is all new to me. Now the Spider-Man for me is like that's still part of that.
Aye, and it's still ongoing, man. Like Laura sobbed and Cullen cried legitimately at the movie. Like it was.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but tell me about Cullen sobbing.
No, I can't give away any spoilers. I won't. I wouldn't dare spoil this movie for anyone. I would just say.
Is it as bad as when Khan cried at goal?
No, man. If anyone didn't fucking tear up during the Marvel movies, you don't enjoy the Marvel movies, and you don't deserve.
Oh
to
yeah,
watch.
You cried at Endgame.
I didn't cry at Endgame. John Hastings cried at Endgame.
No, you
No.
and John Hastings.
No.
Were covered in snot. You were cuddling.
No.
You cried.
John Hastings cried at Endgame.
You hadn't even seen any of the previous movies. Was it Hastings that cried?
It was Hastings that cried at Endgame. I fucking loved it, and I've probably cried at it since. But no, I don't cry in cinemas.
On the way back from, I visited home last night when Ashton at my auntie's, and on the way back we'll listen to your episode as well. What's it called? Paul McCaffrey and Sean.
What Upset You Now?
What Upset You Now? And Carl Donnelly was on one of the episodes.
Listen to that one; it's a good one.
And I felt attacked by all of his What Upset You Now.
Aye,
because he was like adults who like kids stuff. And his examples were Marvel movies, which I love. Mm-hmm. And even though he didn't directly hit us, right, he took a pop of blokes that play with Lego.
aye.
And I've always fancied that.
Well, to be fair, what I think Carl Donnelly's problem is Carl Donnelly doesn't like Chris Ramsey. I think that's what's happened.
Has he just had a passive aggressive dig at
and
Chris Ramsey?
he's like, I can't come on a podcast and go, what's upset you now? Chris Ramsey's upset me now. So what I'll do is I'll just vaguely put this under the fucking radar. That's what I personally think's happened there.
Well, I was caught in the crossfire. As you were, Carl Donnelly is still one of
Because, man, I listened to that one
friends.
too. And, man, it's... Carl Donnelly likes hipster fucking bands, man. Like, I'll let him have those. You let me have Marvel movies.
When his baby was born, or just before his baby was born, he went and bought a vintage like Victorian pram,
Aye.
right? Which like the technology is advanced and it's cool, right? But you do know that you're gonna be gonna bumpy pavements with that.
Aye. It's also not cool.
He's like what he loves is like throwback stuff. He likes vintage stuff. He likes
which is where his argument falls down with Marvel movies. The reason adults like Marvel movies is because they grew up reading comic books. The reason I love Marvel, the reason I loved fucking Spider-Man so fucking much is there's so many comic book references in it that I read when I was 13, 14, 15, and I'm like, oh man, if you want to go for a really old school vegan fucking coffee press from 1920, fucking have that, Donnelly.
Yeah. And another one that they threw in and got us with, but I totally accepted it, was the men collecting sticker books.
Kind of pointed and laughed in my face, and she was like, "You've never finished one," and I'm like, "That's not the point."
It's because you know what? When I was thinking about it, when we were driving, we did in such a close group of friends, right? Of like 4 or 5 people that do it, and there isn't a financial restriction on we. Like, we don't have pocket money. We don't have our parents giving an allowance of stickers, right? So you can just go out there and buy the book if you wanted to. None of them really have. Like, you've chucked more money at it than most. Right? Yeah. But I'll go in and, like, when I'm on tour, I'll have, like, a couple of packets of stickers
I
every
completed
day.
the Scotland one because Scotland hasn't had a Panini sticker album since I was 8 years old. So I was like, right, I'm completing this one.
And it's school. You'll have hundreds of people at once doing it. And even if you get like 2 packets a day each, the Swapsy game is rich.
Aye.
So that makes sense. You need to have a community of...
It's a trader's market.
It's a trader's market. You need to have a proper Silk Road of stickers going on. You can't just do it between 4 blokes with cash. It's not the same game. It's a completely different game.
And you are desperately trying to recapture your youth there. Also, I disagree with them on the Lego thing, but I mean, I don't do Lego, but every Christmas I buy my dad just a massive bit of Lego because it's something he'd never buy himself. And I'm like, man, if
is that for your dad? I saw that.
The huge one.
He doesn't listen to this, does he?
He does. But no, he knows what, man, all I've ever bought my dad for the past 5, 6 Christmases and birthdays is, he's got a successful son, and I'm just like, man, you know what? I'll buy you the big toy that you'll never buy yourself. And when you go to his house, right, my mum spent all this money on her lovely new kitchen. It's amazing. Her kids are gone, so she's done it up. It's stunning. And all along the top is all the Legos my dad's built.
Amazing. In the kitchen. Yes.
Totally
ruining it. It's for your mum, not for him.
Well, to be fair, I don't know if my mum likes it or not, or whether my dad's just put it up there knowing she can't reach it. So whether it's just... He's just put it up there.
She could reach it with a baseball bat if she wanted
She could,
it. If she really wanted it down, she'd get it down. She'd let him have his candy.
What I will say this about Carl Donnelly. So I've come off of Instagram, one, because I'm better than you, and I'm better than everyone that listens to this. Just so you know, I'm off all social media, which objectively means I'm a better human being than you, and I'm allowed to say this at least once a week.
Not all of them.
It's like being vegan.
We've got at least 5 times listeners, and we've got followers on Instagram. So a lot of them are as cool as you.
Oh, are they? Mm-hmm. Oh. Fair enough. All right, well, but those of you that are on Instagram, I'm fucking better than you, and you fucking Twitter losers.
And everybody that's just wants to be worse than Daniel, follow us on Instagram.
Aye. Yeah.
We've got
if you're like, I could be worse than Daniel, that's not that bad.
It's only by his judgment.
Aye, and I don't respect that. I only marginally enjoy his comedy. I've come off Instagram, and I've done it at the worst time because
You're really loving Carl Donnelly's.
is his boozy advent calendar. Like, I am genuinely at one point going to have to go upstairs like a toddler to Cara and be like, can I borrow your phone, go on your Instagram so I can watch Carl Donnelly's advent calendar?
You're like the smoker that quit smoking, but all you've done is quit buying the tabs.
I've not done that yet. I'm just letting you know. I'm at one point I'm gonna have to go up. Because first of all, I love, even though I disagree with everything he said on What's Upset You Now.
No, the worst thing is I agreed with some of it. I just got hit by it. It's like, I guess, like our Muggle Corner. When it would really swipe the legs of good people.
Aye, so I was a bit. I love his advent calendars, and I could listen to Donnelly talk for a fucking long time.
He has a cocktail every morning
Because his wife has set him up with she's bought, I think last year it was coffee beans.
Yeah.
I watched all of those because he's massively into his coffee. So every morning he'd got like a different type of coffee and he'd drink it and he'd fucking review it. And look, I couldn't give a shit about coffee, but like Carl Donnelly reviewing anything, I'll just watch it. It's fucking.
He's just a silly man.
Aye. He's also, I'll say this about fucking Donnelly. He has become so fucking handsome in his old age. And not his old age.
And he's aged fast.
Aye. Like, I remember when Donnelly had long, scraggly fucking hair, wore glasses, had a bit of a fucking pot belly. And
I feel like I could probably like say there was like 5 solid Carl Donnelly evolutionary phases.
Aye.
And I think you're referring to the Napoleon Dynamite one.
Yes, I definitely am.
not his leather jacket and eyeliner one.
No. But this new stage of
is elderly hippie.
But classy elderly hippie.
He's got a non-Movember mustache.
Yeah, but like so pristinely kept, and it's the right type of silver fox. He's got one of those. It's like a lovely quiff back fucking.
He's greying and balding and owning it.
Yeah, is he balding?
It's thin.
Oh right,
you can see a bit of head through his hair.
Okay, but it's like long, and he's able to get it up.
Because there was a bit where he put his head down, and it was like, you know how mine's going like that, but like all the way to the front.
Aye.
And
he's also
he's fucking owning it. He looks like a fucking class old man. He's only 39.
Is he? No, right.
I think he's a couple of years older than me.
Fair enough. No, I reckon.
But he looks like a class pensioner for a 40-year-old.
Well, because I know he's just had his, well, not just had his, I think his firstborn's almost a year old now.
Yeah, like, no, older. Like, year and a half.
Year and a half,
yeah, and because of the whole fucking lockdown and me moving away from London, I haven't met her yet.
I almost managed to meet them in Australia, but was seeing Jean on that day, so just couldn't, unfortunately. She, much like, so my granddad still is a fucking silver fox, but was, when he was younger, all of my mum's and auntie's friends absolutely fancied the pants off of my granddad. Like, it was like
Is that the one with the like the tash that he keeps off his lip and off his nose? It's like a RAF tash.
Dick Van Dyke, yes.
A pencil tash.
Aye, the one that looks...
The one that I shaved in once after November.
Aye.
And it looked awful on us.
Yes, aye.
this ginger copper strip across my lip.
Yeah.
He's doing it right.
That's what I think that's going to, when Donnelly's daughter gets to like 14, 15, if he keeps going the way he's going, and I just don't see how he doesn't at this point, I reckon, unless he just fucking loses it, I reckon he's going to be like, talk of the teenage girls, he's going to be like the older man crush. They're like, oh, can we have a sleepover at yours? Whatever his daughter's called.
Twyla.
Oh, yeah.
So, have you ever done dressed anything like ironically and then bumped into somebody that's dressed like that earnestly?
No, but I've done things sincerely. Like, man, I tried to get a top knot. Like, literally, you know, remember that whole fucking phase?
Aye. Yes.
My gran, that was the, like, you know how grans love you unconditionally and like you're the apple of their eye and everything. My gran looked me in the eyes and told me she loved me less when I had a top knot.
Loved you less? That's hilarious. Is that your gran, Jenny?
No, she would never say anything of that ilk.
Because can I tell you a recent thing with your gran Jenny? I had a book bought by her for, you know, the book about you from the podcast, from the first European tour that I sell over Christmas as stocking fillers. She bought one, and I just wrote like a little note in it. I hope you enjoy the scientific studies of this subject that's close to your heart, blah, blah, right, and sent it, right? And I still haven't replied to her, actually. She messages on Facebook thanking us for the kindness of just sending it out of the blue. And I'm like, oh, someone bought her that and didn't tell her they were going to buy her it. And then I've sent it because they bought her it, and now she thinks that I've just thought of her. And I don't want to burst her bubble on that. But I also don't want to step on someone's Christmas gift.
It'll be Kim. Fuck her. Who cares? It'll be my Auntie Kim. Doesn't matter.
Well, I'm just going to go in and just act oblivious. And just go, oh, I hope you enjoy it and all that. And just act oblivious to this whole situation that she thinks I've bought it. And I don't want to burst her bubble.
But...
yeah,
but you bought my gran a Christmas present. It's dead sweet of you, actually.
So I'm
real sweetheart.
I'm gonna have to buy the rest of your fucking family present new. Otherwise, that's gonna be the tag of Christmas. Oh, Kai bought us a gift, and everyone's gonna be like, "Yeah, where the fuck's my gift?"
Aye, fucking hell, you waited a couple of months till my granddad after the sting of his death had gone past. Now you're trying to fucking seduce my
fucking
gran.
moving in, sending a handwritten note.
To be, is it my granddad passed in February, March? That's been that's 9 months. That's a respectable amount of time for a widow of that age.
You know, if I was single and that sparked something between me and your gran, and I moved up to Thurso and just give her a really nice end of her life, would you begrudge her that?
I wouldn't begrudge her that. I wouldn't begrudge her that. But there's another part of that relationship.
If I just had a fairy tale affair with your gran.
My favourite thing in the world would be my dad at Christmas being like, I'm not calling him dad. Like, nobody's asking you to, Martin.
But I'm holding a hand.
Aye. As long as, look, it doesn't have to be, look, if there's anything more to that relationship, be respectful in the sense that just don't tell us about it. But as long as she's happy.
If I legit loved her, like, if I just saw through the fact she was old and I just loved her out of her soul.
And she's very easy to love to her soul.
And you didn't know, you maybe had questions whether there was anything sexual to it. But we didn't publicise any of that. We just done everything together. We shared a bed.
All right, I mean, it'd be weird because I know she's got one of those beds with the.
And I can't have.
Sorry, I should clarify. I was doing a mime there, which is the bed going up and down. Like she doesn't have like a bed filled with vibrators.
It
goes. Turbo setting activated. It's not. It's like it's an old.
Turns out she doesn't even need me. And if I like done Eskimo kisses with her, like rub noses.
She does. She likes those.
I bet she does.
She does.
She lives in Thurso.
Wait, how do you know this?
She lives in Thurso. She couldn't be closer to the fucking North Pole unless she was Icelandic. So if I like, and I called her me Jenny, but like in a Forrest Gump voice.
Well, I mean, it would suggest to me that you've not watched Forrest Gump recently, and you don't know what a cunt Jenny is.
Oh yeah,
no,
I do.
She's not great.
Bad egg.
I don't think I'd be.
You wouldn't be against it.
I wouldn't be for it. Don't say it in that way. Like there's a middle ground. Whereas the best thing I could do, best thing I could do was be happy for her, and then like when she does pass, I would be like, right, I've got some fucking questions for you. Like I don't want to do this in front of her while she was alive because I don't want her to disrespect how happy she was. But Natalie, come in here. What the fuck was that? We've both got some serious questions here at this point.
Would you be my best man? She just wants to remarry so she can spend the.
If you're getting remarried, then I'm more suspicious. Then I'm like, this is something to do with the will. Like this is.
I'm trying to get in on you. I'm trying to get in on you.
I'm like, now it's fucking sus. Now it's sus.
No, but if I went, Danny, look, I promise you, there's a prenuptial agreement. I don't get any of the money. This is nothing but love. I don't want to ask another best man. I've already and I'm remarrying.
Aye. Well, should probably ask Cam, then.
It's not like I wheel out the B team for my second wedding. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't degrade somebody by asking.
I think at that point, I would genuinely, there would be two people I'd have to ask. One would be my dad. I would.
He's one of the Page Boys. He's my son. He's carrying the flowers.
He's got them stuck in his beard like one of those awful fucking hipsters. And the other person, because
he'd be dressed like me too.
Because you got to remember, I wasn't on your side during your wedding.
Oh, yeah,
I was on Natalie's side. I was there. So, out of respect for her, I would have to be like, look, this is weird, but she does seem happy. Also, by the way, how did he bring this up with you? Did he just fuck off? Did he just take the car and drive north? And you were just tracking him on Find My Friends? And you're like, oh, he's probably just got it through to visit Sloss there. Oh, he's gone past Edinburgh. He's in Fife now. Oh, maybe he's got to see Sloss's mum and dad. That would be weird. Oh, no, fine. He's gone past Aberdeen. Maybe he's off up visiting Gareth's family. That's a fucking... He's still going with it.
Well, they stopped flirting. Anyway, the reason we're getting married is because she doesn't want to have a child out of wedlock.
No, then it's aye. Then me and my brothers and my dad were hunting you down.
Aye, that takes away the ambiguity of our sex life.
Aye.
So anyway, me and Jenny got a thing going on.
Having a wee flirt.
I sent her a present.
And
that's going to come up over Christmas dinner at your house. just letting you know.
Okay,
just letting you know that's what's happening. I had an interesting and wonderful family gathering. That it was interesting because it's the first time it's ever happened where every descendant of me granda Pete and the partners
that we know of.
My harem wasn't there. Jenny wasn't there. You know what I mean? We're all in one room at the same time.
So
it's never happened before because it could have happened at my wedding.
Hold on, remind me. Harry's your dad?
No, Granda Pete.
Sorry, Pete's your dad's dad. Right.
Yep.
So that's your dad. That's you, your sister, and your brother.
So hold on, let me dad and his sister. So me Auntie Linda.
Oh yeah,
so that's the two of them from me Granda Pete. Right.
I always find it fucking sick that your dad
has a sister called Linda.
Aye.
And my sister had a baby father called Gavin. It was a brother's name. It's hereditary to go seek out a partner with your sibling's name.
Aye, very, very odd, but we'll let it slide, Kev. I've insulted you enough on this podcast over the years.
So, Linda has got a daughter, fella, 2 kids and a dog.
Mm-hmm. Fella's not a descendant of your granddad, though. Let's clarify
but,
that. But it's part of the...
Me daughter. She's the only one that wasn't there.
I still have to keep her under wraps.
Did we ever talk about that on the podcast where I had an ill-timed pregnancy where I went to meet a girl and she was as pregnant as the last time I shagged her?
You're like, God, I hope this girl's a slut.
I was like, I'm just doing the maths here. Could that be me? And she was like, it's my husband's. And I was like, but could it be mine? She was like, don't argue with a pregnant woman.
But Cara says that all the time.
It's my millionaire husband, not the chav in front of us now with 30 grand of debt.
That's what Cara says all the time too.
So let's pretend that didn't happen.
Okay, let's move.
I've never asked any more questions.
No, I found it off.
Every time a pregnant woman says "don't argue with a pregnant woman," that's when I stop.
Aye, no, that's aye, and they do use that a lot. It's Cara's fucking its base. That's aye. She uses it on her.
She does it with Monopoly deal when she's cheating.
She uses it on her parents all the time. I say her parents, her mum. I love Cara's parents and her dad's class, but her mum is so excited for a new baby that she's, in Cara's eyes, I don't feel it. Her mum can be a bit overbearing with it, and her whole thing is just, don't argue with a fucking pregnant woman.
Aye, you take that. That is base.
Aye.
You can't be like, nah, vetoed.
So Gav,
so that's me, Auntie Linda's side, right, down to the two young'uns.
Mm-hmm.
Gav, being my dad's eldest, with his fiancée, his daughter.
Yes.
Me, with Natalie, my wee dog.
Aye.
And
Justine
with Logan. And that's the first time we've all been in one room.
Aye. And did the ghost of your granddad come back? Was there like a
one of the lights started flickering. Somebody said it. Oh, there's Grandad trying to get through. I was like, there's some bad DIY from Uncle Tom. But okay,
we still live on the estate, mind.
They're quite posh, actually. My auntie's side. You've met me, Auntie Linda, haven't you?
I think, but I probably have, yes. But I've met them like in amongst the punch drunk chaos that like they're look,
no, you know, if you went on like whose house is this, like through the keyhole of like Lloyd Grossman, who lives in a house like this, you would never guess one of my family members. just saying.
Man, I feel the same way about your current house. Like I go, who lives here? You're like, me, and I'm like, right, well Natalie does, and you're also here. Like that's
so my brother brought his tripod and we got like a proper cheesy family photo. Man, it was like something.
I mean, you've met my family on both sides, very, very close across the fucking board. Those big ass family photos, definitely get them printed out onto like a big fucking canvas sort of thing.
It was funny because we put like 3 chairs for the 3 laddies. They're all like similar aged, like you know that age between like 7 and 10. Right, and they just wanted to play on the computer, and they get called through for a photo, and we put like 3 chairs out for them, like they're on thrones, and they're all sat there looking bored as fuck.
Aye, absolutely.
They're like, oh, why have I got to do this? And cousin Kelly's like, stop slouching, Dexter. Look nice for the photo. And he's just like, oh, I'd rather die.
Aye.
And I was watching them, and I was like, you have got no idea how much this photo is going to mean to you. Like, it's pointless even trying to explain to you now, but you are going to fucking cherish this photo at one point. Like
100%. I one of my favourite things, and I completely agree with you, I think it's one of the signs of getting older when you really, really enjoy looking at younger photos of yourself, and everyone fucking does it, and it's like this moment you go, God, I'm old, because you sit there and go, God, look how young we looked. Like we were kids then. I remember there was at least 2 fringes, and I'm so glad that I fucking did this, where I just bought heaps and heaps and heaps of disposable cameras and left them around the fucking house. And I've got 2 filled albums in that house of just those 2 fringes.
Class.
And occasionally I'll bring those out and we will look through, and fucking boy, do we all look like children.
We're starting to look young in photos now.
Aye.
I felt like we were mortal for a little while there.
Aye.
And then...
No, we were mortal. We were completely mortal.
I'm mortal.
That's where it comes from.
And then the photos that are popping up on Time Hop now, because Facebook is starting to come into its adolescence. You know, you're starting to get time hops from like 12 years ago now. It's not just like there was a point back then where time hops were just from 5 years ago, and it didn't get any further back. If you want to get further back than that, can in the biscuit tin under your mother's bed.
Aye. Oh, I think Cara's go back, but I think her time hop like goes from her camera as well. Also, she just keeps fucking everything. Cara, you know how I'm like, there's no point in me taking photos because I don't share photos and then I don't save them to anything.
Aye.
And they're gone. Cara is the opposite with everything. She has, and it kills me because this happened yesterday when her parents were down. She's still got the messages of us flirting with each other right at the start.
Did I tell you what I'd done with their messages from me and Natalie?
I was with you. We were in fucking Estonia when you were doing it.
I screen captured them and put them into a Moonpig card. So the whole Moonpig card was just our first banter.
I don't think there is. First of all, I don't think you should ever hit anyone unless it's within a professional sport in which you've both consented. I think sometimes some people deserve to be.
I've disappointed you on many occasions.
I was about to add another stipulation, which is I also think there's some people do deserve to be hit. They absolutely deserve to be hit. And if you're somebody that's handing out that justice, even though I don't agree with
the kangaroo court street judgment.
Yeah, but it's. I also don't think it's morally reprehensible in that. Me personally, just me, I would like to go my entire life without ever hitting someone. Least of all, a woman. Least of all, a pregnant woman. Least of all, a pregnant woman that I love. She started reading out the messages we were sending to each other during our initial courtship in front of her parents. Right? And I'm like, do you want? I will fucking slap you off of this fucking chair. What are you doing? What are you? This is because what's excruciating was so. First of all, the reason I'm angry is because I'm a different person now, and that was when, like, man, this was at the start of our relationship when it was all secret. We were just flirting with each other.
You're an undercover whip as well. I know you are.
I'm less undercover now, but no, man. If it was just fucking weppiness, I'll own my fucking wep. I'm a soft cunt, man. I cry at fucking movie, man. I watched The Blind Side on the train the other day just to make myself cry because like
you needed a release.
Yes, man. When little Ali sent the first photo of his new baby, I cried for like 5 minutes. Right, I'm just at that stage. I'm Milo now, and I'm fine being Milo. Milo was right. I'm fully on board. Team emotion. This is all fucking grand.
Because Natalie was telling me I should have a cry after the tour, and I was just saying, nah, I'm gonna bottle it up, let it go black inside, and kill myself.
Bleed the radio, man.
It's not okay. It's not okay to not be okay. I'm a man. I need to step up.
Aye. No, you got it.
You do.
Aye. So
you do, but not me.
Everyone else can do it, but not.
I get it, pussies. Do what you've got to do.
If you're gonna be fucking gay, I've got no problem with it, but I'll not do it myself.
If you want a shoulder to cry on, there's a hard shoulder on the M6.
I do it in silence. I've got no problem with fucking weaponness, but what I fucking hate was how fucking cool I used to think I was and how much of a fucking player I clearly thought I was. Just, you know the standard rule that you have, which is like always text a girl as if somebody's reading over your shoulder. I didn't do any of that.
Like mine was, her friends are looking at it because she's showing them, and your friends have looked over your shoulder and spotted what you're saying. You can't go fucking wrong if you're looking good in the eyes of an onlooker when you're in the dating game. You cannot go wrong.
Well, man, look, it clearly worked, right? Clearly worked because she's
because none of our friends saw it and told her to take her blinkers off. Nobody put her right. What were you saying?
I can't, man. I really like. I
always text a girl like she's going to marry you, then read it out to our parents in 5 years.
I cannot stress that enough. Like, that is the most sound bit of advice I can. Man, it was. It's just me because it was even worse. It was. I mean, talking about fucking weapons. It was the night. Because man, I fancied Cara. Well, we both fancied each other, but I don't know why I was so obsessed with her. She was one of the first people, even though we hadn't even fucking shagged at this point, that I told about the fucking Netflix deal the night of Bulgaria.
You just trusted her? Or do you just want to give us something to build trust around?
I don't know. But
like, you might be a fucking dick about this, but let's find out. Little test.
No, but I think it was like I was excited and there was people I wanted to tell. Obviously you. I told my family. There was only a certain amount of people I could tell, right? So it obviously goes family, you, Jean, the Alleys. I eventually told the goats, but I wanted them to do it in fucking person. And then for some reason at the moment in time, my heart said Cara. And I did, but instead, and it was clearly like an emotional thing, but I couldn't be as like, hey, I really like her, I would trust you with this. So I was blatantly trying to fucking cover it with, man, it was just excruciating. I cannot.
Was it like, oh, this is embargoed by millions of contracts and you're not allowed to tell anybody?
Yes. Aye.
So, Section 32B of Employment Law Tribunal number 74. Like, shut the fuck up, man.
No, just... Well, because that was the night that I just kept bursting into tears while we were out drinking in a really nice
Bulgaria.
Aye. And also, like, you're like, Bulgaria is one of those places where you're like, I'm going to do some. There's going to be some controversial stuff in this show, and then you do pro-gay material or you do sex education stuff, and they're like, ooh, and you're like, oh man, that was not the controversial stuff.
Oh shit, that was the progressive stuff, the controversial stuff. They're just enjoying it like without any sense of irony.
Aye, just being like, here we go. That's a great idea. Why? Tell us more why journalists belong in the Holocaust. They're like, this is great. Fucking, is this guy from Russia originally? Yeah. This is class.
How do we elect this guy?
Aye. Oh, yeah, real bad. I had to take her aside, and I was like... I was like, come here.
It's just you and our parents in the room.
Dave, right. Don't worry about it. I'm just... it's about your Christmas, whatever. Come here.
Time out. We're calling it time out. It's like basketball. I think you can do that in basketball. Can you? Feels like you can. It feels like you can just stop a basketball game at any point, can you? What a sport. What a sport. Oh, we're getting beat. Stop! Stop! We're getting beat, guys. Everybody in. No, you already get 3 intervals.
Wait, no. Oh,
quarters.
Yeah. Got you. Took her aside and I was like, man, I don't mind you having that. I don't mind, like, obviously, if it keeps you fucking happy and you like reading it, please, no. Man, it's like my old stand-up specials. Not enough time has passed yet. And I can't laugh at myself enough yet beyond this. So can you just not...
But they still exist, though. You didn't get to delete them.
She wouldn't delete them. Cara doesn't delete fucking anything. So she wins so many arguments. And also, like, I think that's why she's got such a good memory. Cara could lie to my fucking face about things, because my memory is so bad, I'll just go, okay. Like, did you fill up the car? Yes, your car with petrol. She's like, I told you to do it. I'm like, well, that might be true.
Probably.
All right, fair enough. I've lost this argument.
I'd say that when Natalie went to pick us up from Edinburgh Airport instead of Glasgow, and then I rang again, I'm here already. And she's like, how are you here? I'm just past Falkirk.
You're like,
and she was like, you said Edinburgh. And I was like, sounds like me. I do not remember saying that. I don't have any reason to say that.
Nope.
There's no grounds, but...
I'm not confident enough to...
I've been lawyered somehow. somehow I've been lawyered.
Right. I'm trusting you to not use my shite memory against me and use it to win arguments, but I'll never know. I'll never know whether that's...
Do you know, ever since that poop means shit and not farts thing, I've just doubted everything that I've ever known to be true. Like, even when I'm like right a lot of the time, I'll just
mandibles.
Mandibles,
your little mandibles.
Mandibles. Like, just ever. There's just enough moments now for us to just be 100% certain about a thing and go, probably wrong.
Aye.
What is reality?
Is that because I'm at a similar thing, but mine's is because I fucking hate being wrong so much. I hate being wrong. I think it's one of the worst emotional feelings in the world. Like, especially when it dawns on you and you know how hard a stance you've taken in the past, and then just a new bit of evidence
everything in your bones is telling you to still fight it. Still fight it. You've got this. It's not about being right. It's about winning.
Yes, I think the reason as I get older, I'm more willing to like be less stern and strict in opinions isn't because I'm more mature, isn't because I'm actually open to things. I'm just like, man, even if there is a 2% chance you're wrong, that's like there being a 2% chance of cancer. Don't fucking risk it. It's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible I say that as somebody that smoked for 10 years as if I gave a shit about cancer.
Gav, it's true. Gav found something. It was my sister showed him something on his time hop. That was a real conviction about something to do with parenting. That was like a complete contradiction to how he sees it now that he's got a kid. And he saw that and he like absolutely hated it, and very much like me with Peggy in my previous opinion on dog lovers, and he just sees himself like hating his past self, and that become like a topic of conversation. I was like, man, when I see the convictions of previous me, I cringe at it because it's not the me now. It feels like somebody else is talking with my face, right? But I still love that dude. Without his convictions, I would never have had the career path that I've had, because me now wouldn't be able to just fucking go, I'm funny, I could be a comedian. I'd be like, oh, I'm probably going to get like laughed at and the wrong reasons for this.
Maybe I'm not very good at this.
Yeah, there'd be a bit more self-doubt creeps in, a bit more like fear of your own mortality. It's like that.
Yeah, the arrogance of youth did carry me through at least the first 5 years of my career.
And if a byproduct was the arrogance of youth, then such a necessary headstrong.
But I think the thing that makes me cringe most about it is like, especially during my, and don't get me wrong, I'm still an arrogant person, and it's something I'm trying to work on within myself.
Like that lad pulled Natalie. You couldn't have left that to me. I would be fucking clueless.
But do you not lose respect for Natalie for falling for that cunt? It's not a party that goes.
She wasn't mugging out. She didn't look back at old hair.
I remember being told so many fucking times, like, it's just people around me going, the arrogance of youth, and me being like, fuck you, I'll always feel this way. And now that I'm like 31, I'm like, I don't fucking feel that way anymore. And I don't want to be that, you know, I don't want to be that with the new generation of comics that are coming through, you know, now that we're older comics, and not just in the sense we're old age-wise, but I've been doing this for 14 years. I'm a seasoned fucking pro at this. Like, I am. I don't want to have that, you know, the next time I see the next
very close to half of your life being a stand-up. Like your next birthday.
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, no.
I can't believe how much of a bombshell that was.
Well, it's also because I remember when I was 18 and I'd already been doing it for like 2 years, well, fucking 90, whatever. I've been doing it for like 2 or 3 years. I remember the time, you know, because everyone regrets, the number one regret of most comedians is, I wish I started younger, and that's not a regret I have. And I was like, man, by the time I'm 30, I always just say, by the time I'm 32, I'll have been doing it half of my life. And that was always something so far in the distance. That was like, one day when I'm going to be a dad, which is also fucking looming.
It's still muscle memory for you. You could do that bit on stage. And it's just happened.
Does it count if I because I wouldn't have been doing it half of my life, because I'm stopping next year.
Aye, so you are. You're going to have some time off.
Aye, I no longer love stand-up. So I'm going to stop until I do again. I'm going to honour the ones, like if you're in France and Norway and all those rescheduled dates, those will be happening. I'm going to honour all the ones. But
and he's actually probably going to love them more because he knows that this is his little swan song.
Well,
swan song.
My logic is, if you know, because a lot of these ones are going to have to be rescheduled for like June, July, but just because of everything that's fucking going on at the moment. I'm like, man, if at those gigs in June, July next year, I go on and do the show and I'm like, oh, I fucking love stand-up again, then hey, we're back. And then I've got no problem. This isn't like an indefinite thing. But from this moment on,
you're not booking in any more gigs?
No, there's nothing
not
you could offer me.
Not a preview, not a festival?
Not a fucking 5 at the stand, not a 5 at the fucking Monkey Battle, nothing. I'm not doing any fucking new shit. I'm not writing new jokes.
You're going to get to the end of your diary without putting anything new in.
And then, and just fucking stop for a bit, just because, I mean, this tour was shite.
Aye, up until New Orleans, it was class. And when I say class, there was still moments where they were like, why were in like St. Albans and Guildford just before going on the US tour, or European one, just before the European tour, when we're going to get back from that and go straight to America. You're looking at it again, there's no room to breathe in between. But still, I feel like we had a zest for it still in America. And at the end of the American tour, when we had that big group hug with me, you and Neil,
that should have been the end.
That felt final. And the fact that we come home, we had less than 2 days in the house, and then we're back. I'm going to say it again because the fucking more you say it, the more ridiculous it sounds. Brighton, Aberdeen, Dublin, Bournemouth, Perth. Was like, we hadn't even had a chance to sleep any of our jet lag.
Aye.
And we got thrown into that, and that was just the beginning of like a 4-week spell.
Aye.
that was fucked. And at the end of it, after the Apollo gig, there was not, even though it was the Apollo, even though like it wasn't your first time there because you've done like a charity show there before and stuff. It was my first time at the Apollo. Our partners had come down to see we crossed the finish line. Your mum and dad were there. It had all of the ingredients of having fanfare. Last day of the tour, Apollo, surrounded by our loved ones. It didn't feel like group hug. We did it. It felt like, what the fuck was that?
Who did that? Who the fuck? Own up.
What the fuck was that about? And you just got straight into the taxi back to the hotel.
Immediately home. I didn't want to. We're going to after shows drinks. Enjoy the after shows drinks. I'm getting home as soon as possible. Couldn't have gotten earlier.
So I had a drink with a man. That it was nice. It was like it was nice. But it wasn't fanfare. It wasn't like. It was like getting to the end of a marathon, right? Celebrating the end of the marathon and then finding out that was just my.
They cancelled your training. You had to walk home.
It's in a straight line. You have to walk back.
You're like, oh, no.
Aye, so fucking hell. So
also fucking to everyone that came out to the Apollo gig, fucking well done and congratulations on a fucking gamble because London is just ground fucking zero for this new very boring strain of COVID.
Out of 3,000 tickets, 500 didn't show.
Aye, which is fair enough. Because it's man,
and whether that's people come in contact, people just don't want to take the risk.
Man,
people have tested positive.
We got the fucking heebie-jeebies. I was fucking freaking out like fuck on.
I've
Wednesday.
tested every day since before the Apollo game.
Same. I've done. We've got so many PCRs in the fucking house becoming a season. Man, I'm like a seasoned sex worker at this point. I don't even gag anymore.
I still do.
Aye.
I'm even worse. I'm getting to the pack. I'm like, look. This is getting
a Pavlovian response. No, I'm all good, man.
It is.
And
but I think half of it's because I've been drinking a canny bit now. I've drank my way through this last while.
I've not. I reached the month mark, and then last night we had the first games night we've had in like 2 fucking months with Gareth and Laura.
Great.
And Cara was just like, please just have a whiskey. Like you've done it. Like,
did you do one?
I had a whiskey.
Yeah, it's nice.
Aye. Just
nice.
not. I think I had about 2 of them in there. Like it wasn't even fucking drunk. But it's for the past 4 days I've been drinking alcohol-free ciders. Just because when Cody went sober, he was like, "Man, it scratches an itch. Like it's not as good, but it's like if you've got the fucking." Chicken pox, it's like scratching them through an oven mitt, right? It doesn't make it feel better, but it's a minor fucking relief.
Yeah.
So drinking alcohol-free cider, you don't down it, and like normally when I drink ciders, I'll down the last third all the time because that's the fucking dregs. You just slowly do it. And so me and Cara just drinking alcohol-free cider together, and you know, because the whole deal was, if she ever called solidarity because she's going through pregnancy and being sober because she's such a fucking party animal, if she ever called solidarity, I would do the same thing. And then because she's sound as fuck, she never did. She was like, I'm miserable. Why would I ever want you to feel that way? So I did it mainly for myself, just because I go through periods of mass consumption and I have to prove to myself personally that, you know, I'm not an alcoholic or a fucking drug addict. But then it's really hard during the holiday season, really hard with friends that you've not seen for a while.
Especially now you're home and you're not travelling and you've got anywhere to be. You're just in your own house.
And I'm not drinking to get through the night. It's not like it's no longer a coping mechanism. It's no longer like I need this to have a fucking smile on my face or to, you know, find this material interesting. It's I'm doing this because I'm with loved ones and aye.
So you're phasing it back in now, or is that just a one?
One, then obviously Christmas Day. Like of course I'm going to drink on Christmas Day and New Year's Eve. But I still, man, I've not hated being sober, but I'm not going to pretend that I don't miss it. Weed is way more difficult. Like, but what I don't miss, which is interesting, I don't miss the pens. Like, I don't miss that. Like now in my head, I'm like, I want if I'm going to be high, and I'm not going to do this for a while because I've now realised the type of high I want to get is that one where you just take a fucking bong hit and then you watch a movie or you play computer games for a bit. And I'm not going to be able to have that in my life for a while because I think as a parent, you're able to, if you can and you feel comfortable with it, I think at like the end of a night, you're able to have a glass of wine or a whiskey or a beer or a gin and tonic, whatever your thing is, and have one of those because that's a 45-minute commitment and you're not shit-faced you're not,
Aye.
anything. It's
You could still drive the car in an hour.
aye, you shouldn't, and I won't, but you could. Whereas I know the type of high I want to get is that 3-4 hours of like, man, I'm really fucking baked, and I just don't think you can be that in your first couple of months as a new parent. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe other people have done it, but for me personally, just with my relationship with it, I'm just like, that's.
I've got 3 spliffs in the house, and I've managed to not touch them yet.
Aye, that's a level of fucking self-restraint I admire.
And I'm getting to the point where I'm properly looking forward to them now.
Aye.
So I did, because after you left London, I stayed for an extra day, and this wouldn't have been like anything you would have been up for at the time, but near and far Camden, where Sarah Holgate works, and Mary used to work, in Kirsty. That place is class.
It is class.
It's so. Have you been before?
Yeah, we went. I think I went.
Was
there
it Kirsty's birthday thing?
I went there. I went there for their opening night. I'm pretty sure,
Aye.
and then also for Kirsty's birthday. I think it's.
I had a belter night there. It was just all the cocktails were class. I went through I had like old fashioned. I had like a martini. I had a gin and tonic and that. And I just kept fucking trying. Like I got mashed, and they were bringing coffee tequilas.
Oh, the Cafe Patron.
I think it was Cafe Tequila. Is that the same thing?
Cafe Patron.
Oh, well, that's
Aye.
So we're down in them, and I got absolutely fucking smashed. I made a shite for my train journey on the way back the next day.
Aye.
But I had such a good night there. And then obviously yesterday I went out to me Auntie Linda's for the big gathering, and I got Muller there because Natalie. I drove there, Natalie drove back, so she didn't drink. So I've been mashed the last couple of nights. Something I wanted to bring up, the Kelly's dog was there, 2.5-year-old Springer Spaniel, full of energy, and fucking Peggy and Max just giving each other the run around all day.
Nice.
They keep stopping for truces, like they're just chasing each other around. And they would just, I couldn't see the signal, but every now and again they would just stop and just have a minute, like just looking at each other and getting their breath back. And then they would just know at the exact same time, let's go, cunt. And they'd gone mad for
Like
it.
Max Holloway in the last 30 seconds of a fight.
Aye, it was. And it was class because I was like, normally Peggy's like trying to have that with a passing dog or your cat, your 8-year-old rescue cat, and you have to like rein her in. This was the first time we've been able to go off the leash with another dog and just find your boundaries with each other. And they were just like best pals, right? So we're just laughing at this like little sideshow that's going on in the house. Everyone's having their conversations, catching up for the first time in 3 years, and these dogs are just fucking like, they'll just bull through, and you're going, well, that's happening. And then Peggy just skidded through, right? So we're sat in a circle, all down to each other. Peggy skidded through, lay on her back, legs wide open, and Max started licking her root. Like as if he was drinking out of a bowl. I was like, way fucking I can't. Peggy, you hussy. And Natalie listening, don't slut shame our dog.
Well, I'm just going to say,
Pedo shame the other one.
she's been alone with Natalie for a couple of months. I don't want to say where she learned it from,
Aye,
but
she got it from somewhere.
it's a short mystery.
Aye. She keeps humping Natalie's leg as well.
I
I've
saw
spoken about
that the
this
other
before.
day. Aye.
I didn't know female dogs humped, but they've got to get theirs too.
Aye. It's like when you find out that a lot of lesbians use strap-ons. You're like, oh yeah, I mean, of course you do. Yeah, that makes so much more sense to me.
Aye.
As opposed to just fucking clam slamming for a bit.
Aye. I've got no idea. I only know what happens on porn. What happens in the real world. Not a freak.
Well,
not a pervert.
If you watch Mae Martin's Feel Good, you'll learn a lot.
I'll find out.
Aye.
What was I saying? Every time Peggy humps Natalie's leg, I kick off as if like she's trying it on with my bird. I talk about like, fucking you doing that to my lass? Back the fuck off, mate.
Aye. Do you want to go outside? Do you want to go outside? Aye, of course I do. Oh, fuck.
I've got a 25-minute walk on my hands. I've got to pick up shit. You need to take a poo bag. Take your dog inside. You've got to pick up that poo. So, podcast-wise,
Aye, I'm going...
this is the last one before Christmas.
We'll do some in the new year.
We're gonna should we do? I'm coming over to do the Gloomhaven on 30th. Should we do like, even if it's just a little one? Should we do something something of a New Year pod?
Aye, something then, and then we'll do some in the new year, and then because I am taking a sabbatical from comedy for a bit, and because
As the baby arrives.
there's a baby that arrives for all of February. and for an unknown amount of time afterwards, I'll be away for a bit, just living my fucking life
So
without any of this in it.
So we're gonna keep this going. I'm gonna set up a studio in my office at home, and I'm gonna put it to Mark Nelson. I think he's a class guest when he's on it. I'm gonna see if he'll co-host with us for as much as he can.
Try and poach Gareth from their podcast.
Yes, we've got Gareth and Cullen at our disposal,
Aye.
which might mean more trips through here, but they might come through, who knows. And I'm also going to keep checking the stand and the Glee listings because I'm in Glasgow. So it might be that, like, in fact, Larry Dean's just down the road.
Aye.
Ashley Story lives in Glasgow. Like, there's a handful of, I could just maybe have, like, rotating guests where some are going to become regulars just until you get your feet on the ground with a band. And then when you're ready, then podcasts about fatherhood are going to be fucking class.
Aye.
I'm looking forward to them ones.
Well, it would be a fatherhood podcast. If you want that, you can go fucking listen to
but I'm definitely...
Josh Widdicombe and Rob Beckett's podcast, which already covers all of that.
My lass's brother, Alexander, listens to that religiously, and he doesn't have kids. He doesn't seem to be driven by having kids, but he fucking loves that podcast.
Aye, well, I mean, Rob Beckett's very funny.
Slam by omission. Slam by omission. I love it. So we'll see is not on have a good Christmas. Just you don't need us in your life for your Christmas, man. Have a good Christmas. We'll be back on the 30th.
Yeah, for one of those for an episode then, and then back in the new year, because we've still got some gigs there. If you're worried about any of the dates that have been rescheduled, Aberdeen, Dublin, Budapest,
Paris, Cambridge,
I think, and then I know there's going to be some of the Scandic dates, like Finland and stuff. All these are still happening, but obviously just with everything that's going on in the world and with the... I personally think there's going to be fucking changes in January or just after Christmas that's going to happen. All of those are going to be honoured. Please don't think my sabbatical is going to be me cancelling those. They're all going to go ahead. It just means that I'm not doing the Fringe next year, and there most likely won't be a tour next year. That's it.
And if you want Daniel's book, if you haven't read that yet, get that. Mine is for sale on Etsy. There's a limited amount. I only bought so many for Christmas. If your best friend isn't that good and didn't get you one, treat yourself. There's still a few left. Natalie's working on e-commerce in the house.
And there's both of our stuff is available for purchase on. If you go to the Instagram page, there's a link to
our merch.
Our merch.
Now
there's some Team Cream merch. I'll be producing some merch as well in the new year at some point. So just fucking stay tuned. We're not stopping it.
So somebody asked about the stickers, right? Because you can get a sticker for each of the merch types, but you can only get like one from each one. And it just starts getting expensive if you fill your basket with each sticker. So what I'll do is I'll order a bunch of stickers online and I'll put them into bundles and people can buy stickers for their laptops and for their fucking whatever, their instruments and that.
Sweet.
So we'll do that. Everything's still happening, just it's going to be different.
Have a good Christmas. Look after yourselves. We'll see you next time, you fucking cunts.
Bye.